Welcome back, America. There's been a large explosion in Milan, Italy. A van has blown up. It was packed with oxygen tanks. No word yet if it's terrorism. I'm joined by Tom Emmer, Congressman Extraordinaire, House Majority Whip from Minnesota. Good morning, Whip. Emmer, how do they call you? Do they call you, hey, here comes the whip? I mean, is that good?
That's the nicest thing they call me. But yes, good to be with you, Hugh.
Good to have you back. Here comes the whip. Okay, how did you get the 217 votes you needed to pass the debt limit?
You listen to everybody. We got 222 members, Hugh. A lot of people were like, "Oh, you need 230, you need 240 to, get people together." Actually, Republicans today with 222 members takes 218 to pass things. Republicans today, I would argue, are more united than ever. We understand who is destroying America, and the adversary is on the other side of the aisle. Republicans have been united under Kevin McCarthy's leadership, making sure that we fight back.
So, in terms of what the president responded last night, former President Trump said the default issue is mainly symbolic. It might be a bad day, might be a bad week. Seemed to downplay default happening. What's your view of a default and its consequences?
Well, I understand he's running for the top office, so he's going to do what he's going to do. But I could not disagree with our former president more. I think the default is not on the table. House Republicans have literally taken that off the table by passing what would be a transformational bill that the White House can't respond to, at least not yet. I think the president and the people literally that are running the White House around him are still busy trying to figure out how to deal with this because they've lied about what's in it, Hugh. They try to say that it has all these cuts. These are spending reforms. It would save this country roughly $5 trillion over the next 10 years, would save close to $1 trillion in the very first year with some very basic things, right? Just going back to 2022 baseline spending levels, these guys claim that's a 22% cut. Well, that's interesting, Hugh. That's just 4 months ago. And by the way, those spending levels were set by Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. And then you cap it over the next 10 years.
Oh, we lost the connection. Okay, we'll call him back. I want to follow up on that because it is nonsense. What Karine Jean-Pierre and the president are saying about the Republican plan is complete and utter nonsense. And Tom Emmer was just warming up. He's back now. Representative Emmer, I was just saying, you are completely right. What the president says the House bill does is not what the House bill does. We're not throwing veterans out on the street, right? That's what Karine Jean-Pierre seems to say we are doing.
Well, she really, I have things I could say about that voice of the White House, but no, it's just an outright lie. There's no other way to say it. We could use a nicer word and say they're being very disingenuous, but there is no Republican that is going to cut veterans' benefits. In fact, after the VA under Minnesotan's leadership, Dennis McDonough, they put out a DCCC press release in response to the debt ceiling. It's completely false. It's loaded with lies. The fact of the matter is, I think next week you'll get the Milcon VA bill that will be voted on the House floor next week or the week after. Republicans are not going to cut veterans. Republicans are going to protect veterans. Republicans are going to protect our defense. Republicans protect the men and women that wear the uniform and protect us every day. Completely the opposite on the other side of the aisle. And the good thing about it, Hugh, people like you are talking about it. You have a large group of people that listen to you. More importantly, these people underestimate the American people. The American people are smarter than these, Joe Biden and these Democrats, Chuck Schumer, the cartoon character from the Senate. Americans are smarter than these people give them credit.
Last night, the former president said he had to negotiate with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer over the debt limit. And he was basically saying, I'm compacting here, it's all theater. But, if it's theater, we got to come to the end of the play. Joe Biden's got to send some people with the ability to negotiate. Has that happened?
No, it has not. I think we're going to know a lot more tomorrow afternoon. Our speaker, Kevin McCarthy, has another meeting with the president and whoever is representing him. Let's be clear. Chuck Schumer has nothing to do with the negotiation, absolutely nothing. Chuck Schumer, our speaker, has said to him, Chuck, if you can pass a bill out of the Senate on the debt ceiling, do it. And then we can go to conference. And the bottom line is Chuck Schumer can't pass anything out of the Senate. In fact, the only thing they've really done of any significance over the U.S. Senate this year is declare March maple syrup month. So this is going to be between Kevin McCarthy and Joe Biden, or whoever is representing Joe Biden. And your question is a valid one. We don't know who that is yet. I suspect they'll find out tomorrow.
Now, let's not deprecate maple syrup, Whip Emmer, but later McConnell has come out and said exactly what you said. This has got nothing to do with me or Chuck Schumer. This is between President Biden and Speaker McCarthy. We have divided government. Did the speaker come back? I haven't talked to him since. And give you any sense of whether or not President Biden is actually engaged with the details? 'Cause I don't think he is. I don't actually think he has the capacity to engage with the details.
No, the speaker came back and said it was a frustrating meeting. The president did not. He tried to carry the talking points that you're cutting, and the speaker had to tell him where, Mr. President, tell me where in our bill it says we're cutting. Yes, we're going to have to make hard decisions, but this is about making sure that the country doesn't default. And then the president, according to our speaker, kept conflating the budget with the debt ceiling. And our speaker had to keep reminding him, Mr. President, the budget has nothing to do with the debt ceiling. The budget is a top-line spending number. We're talking about, protecting America from a default that, quite frankly, could be very devastating to our position in the world. So it was a frustrating meeting, to say the least, but I think tomorrow will be a better meeting.
This does bother me, Representative Emmer, which is the president repeatedly conflates the debt, $31.4 trillion, and the deficit, which he has not brought down. They're simply not washing the country down with money anymore in the CHIPS Act or the Infrastructure Act or the Inflation Reduction Act or the Green New Deal. Does he actually understand? I mean, does he remember that they're different?
Those are two different questions. Does he understand and does he remember?
Yeah.
First off, I don't think he ever understood. I just don't think our president was, I think he came to Congress saying they told me there would be no math. I don't think he...
Lost him again. Doggone it. Oh, well, when you're running around the hill at this time in the morning, and Tom Emmer gets to work before anybody else does, and he leaves last. But then he always calls back, too. He's back again. I just said you get to work before anybody else and you leave last, so I gather your cell phone's not so good up on the hill.
I don't understand it. I'm sitting on the street corner, Hugh. It must be the Chinese and TikTok that keep dropping this call.
Yeah. But let's go back to the debt and the deficit. We just got to get people educated. It's not about the deficit. It's about the debt.
That is exactly right. Right now, we're trying to take care of the budget. With the debt ceiling, with the spending reforms, this government is spending $1.29 for every dollar we take in. First, you got to balance the budget. Once you do that, Hugh, then you got to move on to the debt. We got $32 trillion in debt, and we're going to have to create an economy that'll help us grow out of it. You control your spending, and you pay off your debt, and you preserve this country not only for this generation, but for generations of freedom-loving Americans to come.
Now, do you believe that the June 1 day is a real deadline? Janet Yellen put it out there. I just don't believe her.
I don't know how you can believe anything Janet Yellen says. In fact, sadly, I don't think she's up to the job. No, I don't know that June 1 is going to be the date. But, Hugh, we might as well plan on it.
Well, if that's the case, they better send Neera Tanden with a red marker and get to work. What I don't think people understand is that staff has to drill down on this stuff. And I know you guys have staff who are ready to do that and get to where the big two, the speaker and the president, can make some bottom line decisions. But I don't think the staff work's been done at the White House. I don't know if anyone's at home, Tom.
No, that's accurate. I mean, let's be very clear to your listeners. There is only one group that has been working since the beginning of the year, and that's Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, and the new House Republican majority. I mean, we have been working ever since that, what do we call it, the knockdown, drag-out speaker's race,
right,
which actually was very healthy for this country and for our Republican group. But this is the only, and Kevin McCarthy's ready to get the deal done. He has the research. His people have done the work. But I can't say much for the other side.
All right, I'm going to talk to Chairman McHenry a little bit later about banking. So I'm going to ask you about the Comer committee yesterday. Representative Comer laid out, Chris Christie agreed with me, this stinks to high heaven what is in that banking records. Any significant interest from legacy media, anything approaching the interest they had in the Steele dossier, which was made up, as opposed to these bank records, which are very, very real.
Yes, they are. I mean, you're talking about public corruption at a level that we haven't seen in maybe ever. The Biden family, what Jamie Comer from Kentucky has done is he's got 4 banks out of 12. You're talking about millions of dollars already that he has shown the Biden family literally is selling influence. There are shell companies that they funnel all of this in. And Jamie was telling me yesterday, you realize 2 grandkids in the Biden family have benefited financially. You got to ask one of these 21-year-old grandkids, why is somebody putting $100,000 into your account?
Yeah, Whip Emmer, when I saw that, and I talked about it with Christie because he's a prosecutor, every bill has an invoice. Every deposit should have an invoice. Is there a paper trail? Is the IRS on this thing? Because it's just too much money to slosh around in LLCs. I mean, I've only had one LLC my entire life, and I've got an invoice for everything, right? This is not how people do business unless they're crooked. 1 minute.
No, literally, the IRS, I don't think, has been looking into it. But I don't think the Biden family and the White House expected Jamie Comer to go to different people within this scheme who don't have the ability to afford high-priced lawyers and hide behind this. And Jamie and his committee, Hugh, they got the receipts. So they have the accounts and the receipts, and only 4 of 12 accounts so far.
I'm watching. I don't like it that they scheduled it on the same day as the town hall. That's like Comms 101, but you can work with them on that. Do not step on your own story. Tom Emmer from Minnesota. Thank you, Tom. Don't go